And we're just letting people in.
Silent minute.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Awakening World.
What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening World. I'm Love Coach Scott Thomas. I'm your host tonight. And tonight we are honoring the different generations of leaders for an awakening world. And I want to acknowledge that many of you who are watching this program are leading in your own unique ways. There are many, many different ways to lead. And I think we've learned that it's all about leading by example. And tonight we're going to honor different generations, including a lot of the younger people that are part of the New Generation Synergy Group that's part of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle. We're also going to honor the memory of a beautiful brother, Michael Stillwater, who just recently passed away. And to share with you kind of who's going to be on the show tonight, co-hosting the segment about Michael Stillwater is our beloved friend, Gary Malkin, who's one of our favorite people on the show. And it's great to have Gary with us. And some of our younger new generation friends include our beloved Tatiana Speed. She's with us. And Hannah Bork is with us. And they're both going to be providing some of their wonderful work, their creative expressions. Khadijah, who we've enjoyed learning all about the work she's doing with animals and with people and meditation, is with us. Jayuri Ma is with us tonight to share some of her thoughts about beloved Michael Stillwater. Marley Benedicto just joined us in time, and we're very happy about that. Welcome. Connie Viveros, you saw her a few weeks ago when we did a program on the rise of the divine feminine. And she's going to, in about an hour, introduce her friend Monica, coming all the way from Uganda, who's doing extraordinary work in the world. And our beloved DR is with us to be leading the prayer time a little bit later. So these are some of our guests. You're going to be hearing from all of them tonight. But let's get the show started the way that we love to, with the one and only, the irrepressible Omar Shar.
That's right. I've been called many things, but irrepressible is pretty good. I'll buy that one. So welcome all of our Facebook viewers and YouTubers. We love you so much, and we're so grateful that you're tuning in with us now. And it's a pretty tender time in the world. And so we're going to have a very tender start to tonight. And the whole night, I think, is going to be rather tender and rather lovely. So here we go. Here we go. When you feel like giving up, when you feel like letting go, living in this ever-changing world, when it seems that all is lost and you don't know where to turn, the future seems so very far away. So just know there really is a plan. The sun will always shine, and with your hand in mine, all heaviness fades away. The love in our hearts will melt the darkest day. Ba-da-dum-bum-bum. Da-da-da-dum-dum-bum. So when it seems that you're alone and the fears knock at your door, remember I am just a breath away. You are my brightest star. You've just forgotten who you are. Remember there is nothing in the way, and just know there really is a plan. The sun will always shine, and with your hand in mine, all heaviness fades away. The love in our hearts will melt the darkest day. So when you feel like giving up, when you feel like letting go, remember I am just a breath away. And just know there really is a plan. The sun will always shine, and with your hand in mine, all heaviness fades away. The love in our hearts will melt the darkest day. The love in our hearts will melt the darkest day. Ba-da-dum-bum-bum. Ba-da-dum-bum-bum. The love in our hearts will melt the darkest day.
Yes, it will.
Oh, you weren't able to hear me.
No, it was great. We lip read it, and it was great.
I was sure, what does it mean for you? Because in my reality, you're definitely a leader for an awakening world, and you do it through your music, you do it through your humility. And what are some of your reflections about leadership for an awakening world at this time?
My reflections have changed quite a lot in the last couple of years because it didn't dawn on me. I've been taught that all change comes from within out, and every time we try to change things on the outside, we're not really going to ultimately change it because the patterns in the world are so strong and so much momentum for so many lifetimes, so many eons, so many thousands of years that it's the consciousness that needs to be changed. And so whilst I go out and be in a community and take part in food drives and food give outs and other community activities, the true work from my perspective is here in myself, because I change the consciousness, change all the codes, all of the triggers, everything that has just blocked source from coming through me. And basically, it's a tough job. We ourselves, I think, are our toughest work. However, I do it every day diligently, and slowly I feel more and more and more of the golden sun that I am shining through me and actually becoming a part of my world. And so therefore my leadership comes from me walking out into the world with this new consciousness. And we're all growing, it's not just me. And that is for me how the world is changing. So there we are.
Beautiful. That's beautifully stated. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the recent leaders that we're honoring right now is a wonderful man named Michael Stillwater. And I'm going to show a few photos of Michael. Whoops, let's go back. Here we go. And this is, of
That's
course,
with his wife, Doris.
thank you. And you're hearing the voice of Gary Malkin, who's my co-host for this segment.
With apologies of having pictures only when we were co-creating Graceful many, many, many years ago. So I don't have pictures of the recent 10 years.
Well, once we pass, I think we go back to our younger bodies anyway. So it's probably more like the way Michael's showing up in the astral plane right now. But absolutely a very, very beautiful man who touched many of our lives. And with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Gary to share a little bit of his experience of Michael, and then we're going to take a look at a video.
Well, hello, my friends. Nice to see you all again in this beautiful community. Thank you, Scott, for giving us an opportunity to squeeze in with the blessings of the youngers that we want to celebrate. So excited to see all of you beautiful beings on this screen, and I look forward to hopefully seeing some of your presentation tonight. For those of you who know anything about me, you know that one of the most defining works of my life has been this work called Graceful Passages. And before the creation of that work, I built a music production company that did commercials and TV shows and films and video games from 1980 to 1998. And then I had a very serious accident. I talked about this in my recent TEDx talk. And during that, the horrible loss of not knowing if I'd ever play the piano again, Michael called me and said, would you like to co-create something to serve stakeholders of death, dying, and grief and loss? And I was going through so much loss that I finally said yes to the many invitations he had given to me. And this experience of co-creating Graceful, where we came up with this idea of recording authentic, tender spoken word set to music, treated like a film, changed my life. And I credit my whole trajectory to moving towards serving, healing, and the greater good because of Michael. And Michael left us suddenly on the day after Valentine's Day. And for those of you who don't know who he is, when he was in high school, he couldn't learn in that context, and he found his way to a place where he was studying Swami Satchitananda's unified, the world of interfaith. And he started what I believe is what became later the kirtan explosion. But way back in the mid 70s, he started a thing called Heaven Song in Hawaii, where he used spoken word, addressing the separation and sacred devotional chant in community contexts before anyone else was doing it. And he has written chants that are being sung all over the world, and people don't even know that it's his. And he went on to be a filmmaker and a songwriter and albums, and we this man has been a creative engine of such magnificence because he's always focused on using music to create unity and peaceful and love and compassion and connecting experiences. And I feel there are thousands and thousands of people in this world who speak so highly of Michael because they've helped so many people remember how music can connect us. And so I couldn't possibly, this is just coming from my heart. I haven't prepared a script. I do have something I'll share later, but I think it's best to just start. How can I, when we co-created Graceful Passages together from 1998 to 2001, we envisioned a thing called the Living Library, where we took authentic spoken word from all over the world and made it available with film score music so that we could feel and absorb wisdom, not just with our linear minds, but with our hearts and souls before we even understood it. And that's what Graceful Passages is. Since it was released in 2001, it's touched over 1 million people, right? And one of the most beautiful things about tonight is we have many of the people on Graceful Passages are no longer in this world. Ram Dass, Thich Nhat Hanh, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, my God, who am I forgetting? Arun and Sunanda Gandhi. It's amazing. And when these people leave, all these people want to experience these tracks. Well, one of the most extraordinary talk speakers was Jyoti Ma. And we are so fortunate to have Jyoti come on. And Jyoti, I'd love you to come on with me. And it took forever for you and I to meet. But at the Caravan of Unity in Grace Cathedral that Ben Bowler created in 2020. But I couldn't believe we had a chance to finally meet. But could you say a little bit about what it was like when Doris and Michael asked you to be recorded for this project way back in 98 or 9 or something like that?
Well, my husband and I were teaching over in Europe. We have a school. It's called the Stargate Mystery School. And Michael was part of it. And he came up, we meet 5 times a year. And go through great transformational processes. And Michael showed me his courage and his authenticity during that time. And he came to me at one of the weekends and he told me, just briefly, Jyoti, I'm going around and I'm asking some of the spiritual teachers if they'll go into that place and let the divine speak through them. What would the divine, what would the great mother that lives in you, what would she want to say to someone going through transition? And I said, well, why don't you come back tomorrow at 7:30 because we had these 12-hour days, and I'll see if she comes, and if she does, then we'll see what she has to say. So he came, he put a microphone on me, and then I went into that space where the mother came and she spoke. And then he went away, and a year later, he sent me a recording of it with the music.
Which I worked on when I got that script. I mean that spoken word recording. I set it to music. Yes.
Yes, you did, and it was the only time I've had that transmission from her come towards me in that way. And then you sent it. Then you put it to pictures with the Earth herself, and
for the Gaia TV show called Islands of Inner Peace. Yes, right.
Yes, and then, it continues to move like magic. It's still flowing. I've had so many people come or write me to say the passage Walk On, which was the one I had in there. I had no
Right.
idea I was going to be sitting at this table of so much so much wisdom. I was quite humbled when I discovered that.
Mm,
But it was something we all did as a gift towards that ending time of life. And it's just touched millions and millions of people and only touched them in ways that assisted them or their loved one through such a time. So thank you for all that you've done. And Michael, now you're in ancestral land and you've got your hand on our shoulder so you can guide us firmly through this time of the Mother's Ascension and the great ending falling into the beginning. The new
oh,
dawn is amongst us.
yes, Jyoti, we're going to be doing a celebration of life on April 25th. It's going to be live as well as online, that you're going to be there and do an invocation for. And we're so excited because everyone is in such shock that he's gone. And so for us to gather together and honor this beautiful Prince of Peace that we have so loved and been so touched by. So I'm excited we'll be seeing each other then. I wanted to play your Jyoti, the walk on video, but even more so, I wanted people to get an experience of the beautiful a piece of the thing called the welcoming. That was his offering for Graceful Passages. So we're gonna do that now. Before we pass on to the video, I just want to say, Jyoti, that the contribution that you made to this project, everywhere I go around the world, there's so many people for whom that is the favorite track. And then Thich Nhat Hanh, of course, all these people. But your track has touched millions. And I just want to thank you again for being such a deep, deep ally and sister in soul devotion to service. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a great honor, and I give her thanks. She's the one that brought that.
Thank you, Jyoti. So Scott, I feel you can get on with me. It's thank you, my dear. So happy you came. Scott, I think we should give people a chance to drop in and see the video. And I just want to say that before you look at the video, if you know that you're someone that is moved by audio more, then I'd encourage you to just close your eyes, because sometimes you can hear more in the ethers when you're not only looking at me. Now, please feel free to look at it. It's beautiful. But there's this alchemy between the music and the words that we really focused on with Graceful Passages. And we believe it's a genre for our time, in this wisdom deficit world we live in. So, Scott, why don't we play that? It's called The Welcoming. And it's a track from Graceful Passages. And it's also a video from the TV show I created called The Islands of Inner Peace on Gaia TV. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Let me try one other way. We did a test. You saw it. It was working a little bit earlier, so I'm going to try it this way.
I can also try to play it from me if you'd like.
All right, well, let me try it one more. Wow, that's interesting.
How about if I try?
Uh,
Should I or no?
Hang on. Yeah, for some reason it's just frozen on my screen. So if you've got it handy, and while you're pulling it up, I'm going to read some of the comments that have come in, because a lot of our people knew Michael. So I'm going to read some of the comments that have come in while Gary pulls it up on his end. By the way, I used to go see Michael when he would play in the Iao Valley way back decades ago in Maui. And always when I'd go to visit my friends in Maui, would head up on Sundays to the Sunday brunch that Michael and his partner at the time would do this beautiful, beautiful event. Christy Michaels, by the way, speaking of Graceful Passages, she says, I played Graceful Passages on a loop as people came to say goodbye to her mother. People were blown away by the wisdom that came through. And Connie talks about your TEDx talk, and people can watch Gary's TEDx talk. Thank you, Connie, for putting that link into
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I talk about the creation of Graceful in the TEDx talk. So thank you, Connie, for bringing that up. And I have it all ready for you, Scott.
Okay, go ahead and play it. Make sure you click to sound, share sound.
I did.
Okay.
Let's all just hold Michael in our hearts and know that this is happening to him right now.
Let yourself relax into this moment. Let yourself be held without any need to hold yourself up. Let yourself meet the unknown. It's okay. It's a place we don't have to know with our mind. What if there were angels all around you, and you just couldn't see them? What if there was a love so vast that you could never be apart from it? What if it was impossible for you to go anywhere where this love could not find you? You are entering into the beauty not far from your heart. It's a place that embraces you as you are. Trust that you will be met by a welcoming presence that knows you. And that meets you with a deeper love than you have ever imagined in this world. May you know, without any doubt, the precious gift that you are. And may you be welcomed by a presence so loving that all fear subsides.
Well done. Oh dear.
Spotlight back on you for a moment. There we go. While Gary turns that off, let's go to gallery view for a moment. And I'm going to pull up another photo of Michael. And let me find a really good one. Here we go.
This is probably Michael, playing with the music here.
I love that idea.
Yes, I think he'd love to play with Gary that way.
Well, let's just take a moment and send our love and our appreciation to this man, whether you knew him or not. Some of us were blessed to know him, but just appreciating and honoring him. And hopefully at some point, maybe right now or at some other point, he'll tune in and see this group of people honoring him. So thank you, Michael Stillwater, for a life well lived. Thank you for your beautiful contributions in film, in music, live, and recorded. God bless you, brother. And may this next journey that you're on be absolutely filled with maximum grace.
So
To you, Gary.
we must hear from Sophia and from David, and we must hear the "May We All Return" chant. And I'm not going to share the poem because we want to move on to the theme of the night. But I do think we really should hear a little bit from David and Sophia, and then we can close with a chant that is what Michael is known for. He's literally written thousands and thousands of unitive community chants. So, hey, brother David, can you believe it? He's not here anymore. It's like every day new parts of me realize that I didn't hear the news yet. It's like, it's hard to wrap my head around it.
Well, just watching that and listening to Michael talk just opened my heart up. I just had a big cry. I just miss him so much. I love him so deeply. I was so blessed to meet him back in the early 1970s when he had the grace notes. He had done these greeting cards, and I happened to be distributing them for a printer up in Oregon with my greeting card company back then. He saw that I was a distributor, and we had a coffee, and he invited me to his music gathering, Church of Heaven Song, and I just fell in love with the music, with him, and I've been part of that community for the last 40 plus years. And I was, it was a weekly event at Strawberry Mill Valley Rec Center, and I was there almost every week for 10 years at the door, welcoming people. And when he and Maloa went off to Hawaii, another member of the community had learned all his songs on the guitar, and Paul Camp and I co-led for a year and a half every week the chant with her Church of Heaven Song. So it's deep in me. He's deep in my soul. I always say he was. I always said Michael is like a spiritual James Taylor, and he sings my heart song.
Yeah.
And I, back when when Michael came back to Marin in the late 90s, and he had chant wave at Lori Grace's and at your home. And then my wife Andrea and I invited you and Michael to our home at the Treehouse. Many of you may have gone there in Novato. And for 3 years, every month, we had the chant wave with 50 or 60 people in our home, blessing our home and the community with these wonderful songs of peace. And originally, they were based on the church, anyway, just magic. It's non-denominational. It's so touching. It's been such an honor to weave our lives together, Gary, with Michael, and actually with graceful passages. I remember that when you and Michael, after one of the chant waves, were in our den with Andrea and I, with a couple of the people, and we were the sort of held space for you to birth that whole idea, and we were sort of the board of direction. And it was I played one of the tracks in that when my grandmother passed away 10 years ago. So it's just been such an honor. Michael was a part of the wedding for Andrea and I 25 years ago, and
Yes.
Honored 200 plus guests with some of his chants and got everybody singing. So it's just been such a blessing. It was such a shock. I still can't believe that he's gone like that. We just take we can't take any day for granted.
Yeah.
Every day is a blessing. Every day is a time to have an attitude of gratitude and to be feeling the blessings and the perfection of our lives just as it is right now, because it could be gone tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
I think the poignancy of what he said in this video, may you know that you are loved, you know, and that you are not, that everything he said, it was so poignant to know that he's on the other side now.
absolutely.
And I just feel like if you want to say just a little bit about what we're going to do on the 25th before we give a chance for Sophia, and then we would be remiss if we didn't play at one of his chants. So,
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. The Heart of the Mother is one of our favorites. We played that at our wedding. Yeah, so next month on April 25th in Mill Valley, I think the Methodist Church will be having a celebration in tribute to Michael. And the first and it'll be open to the public, just no charge, and we have a GoFundMe to raise some funds for that event and for Michael's family. And the first half will be a tribute to Michael with his whole everything about his life, and then the second half will be a chant with the Carrie and friends will lead. So I'm looking forward to. Unfortunately, I have to look forward to that, but it's so to celebrate Michael in every way we can.
Yeah.
And how it touched us all so deeply.
Yeah, this has been such a bonding tool for all of us for 40 plus years. You can only imagine. So you want to bring in, thank you, David. And Sophia, is Sophia here?
Yeah, actually, Gary, so Sophia wasn't able to make it.
Oh, okay.
I'm bringing Christy Michaels up for a moment.
Hi, Christy.
And by the way, Christy and I have been talking about the possibility of live streaming on the Awakening World the entire service for Michael.
Wow.
So,
Wow. That would be amazing.
So that's something, we'll see if we can make that happen.
Yeah, that'll be a full-on concert. And I used to live for those concerts. I never felt anything explode and break open my heart that Michael and his music and his dedication. I mean, he just, the ground of his being. I was so struck when, Gary, you said about how you were realizing what an awakened man he was. And he was wiser beyond his years, because he started this very young, knowing his path and just helping to build community of love and peace. And so many of his chants are Course in Miracle lessons,
Right.
you know, which being a course student, I loved, because it really helps you to embody the wisdom of the lesson.
Chrissy, what I loved about his work was you didn't have to have it be Sanskrit for it to be sacred. You know, yeah, he knew the music and the intention put into singing whatever, especially if we understood it together, that it had great, great power, even if it wasn't necessarily Hebrew or Sanskrit or a sacred language. And he really was the pioneer of the sacred devotional chant movement, really.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to start playing his chant right now, actually, if you don't mind.
Is this it? May we all return?
Yeah,
great. Let's listen. This was improvised at Grace Cathedral with me and Christina and Michael. We never heard it before, and you're hearing this because we heard it for the first time.
May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return. May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return. May we
it open now. I see you. Call me closer. I want to return to the place of the heart and walk into the place of the heart. So help me return.
May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return. May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return. May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return.
Hmm.
God bless you, Michael. Thank you, beloved friend. You have changed my world and so many of us. And thank you for your commitment to understanding that music's greatest purpose is to unify us in peace and harmony and oneness. Thank you.
And Gary, if we can all take a moment too and just wrap our arms of love and prayer around Doris as she makes this strong walk. May she know she's held in this way.
Amen, 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 Jyoti.
I want to thank everybody for their participation in honoring Michael tonight. And the beautiful cycle of life is we come, we do our world, we move on, and there's the next generation that comes through. And that's the theme for this evening. And so, we started by honoring a brother who was an elder, and most of us who spoke are elders. But now we get to meet some of the new generation that are coming through. And these are all younger people that I just have so much admiration for. And our first person that I get to introduce, that's part of the next generation of leaders for an awakening world, is Khadijah. And of course, those of you that are regulars on the Awakening World have had the opportunity to see her before. I know a lot of us also are part of the Connection Field, where she is a major regular leading meditation. She's also doing wonderful, wonderful work helping our beloved four-leggeds. And I am really excited to watch Khadijah as your Paws Animal Wellness Center grows and grows and grows. I'm holding the vision for when you get your permanent property, and just look forward to hopefully watching it as you do this great work in the world. So welcome to the Awakening World.
Thank you so much, Scott. It is an honor to be here, and it is an immense honor to be here in this moment after that beautiful testament of life. Both the spoken word and that chant moved me so very deeply, and I feel humbled and honored to be speaking after.
Beautiful. I know that my experience of you is that you're very humble. And the truth is, though, you are an example of a true new leader in our awakening world. And I'd love for you to share with the audience a little bit about your journey. And I know that you've had a challenging journey in life, being a very, very young mother, a young single mother. And I'd love for you to just share with the audience a little bit about your journey and what it means to be a leader as you move into this cycle of your life.
Thank you, Scott. I'll just give you a little tiny snapshot. I was a mother of two by the time I was 20, so I had my daughter when I was 18, and my daughter at 20, or sorry, my daughter at 18 and my son at 20. And we unfortunately were their biological father was an abusive individual, and I got out of there, but it took him quite a few years before I could get full custody. I finally got full custody. And we were all kind of on a journey of growth together. I, for a long time, said that, I grew up with my kids. I also said that, like, I agree that when you have children young, you do grow up with them. And I also wouldn't recommend it, because I think that it is a journey selected for, it's a very, very intense experience. And I owe my life to my children in many ways, as they always taught me to be better today than I was yesterday, better tomorrow than I am today. And that's ultimately how I strive to live my life. And I wasn't in the beginning. I mean, I struggled. I had to fight through breaking old patterns from my father, who was psychologically abusive. He meant well, but he didn't always know how to show that. And I had to break those patterns as a new parent. Also, trying to get out of this relationship at the time and having really no clue what I was doing, raising two small children. I was a high school dropout, and, just kind of really didn't know what to do. And the one thing that's always carried me through is a faith in something greater than myself, is a faith in something beyond me. When I didn't know what to do, I prayed to help me find the strength within myself to make it through a moment. And went back to school, did a bunch of different things, from psychology to physics to education, kind of just like rooting around in the dark, trying to find my path. But I really, I always say I was following the whispers in the wind. I wasn't really, I was always just listening to the divine. Where do I go next? What do I do next? Where am I to help next? And if I look back at every single avenue of my life, I was always working to be of service. From when I wanted to be in psychology, it was of service. When I went into physics, it was always of service. How can I bring younger children into science so it's more accessible to those beyond, who, like, you often see a lot of males in there, or wealthy individuals, and I wanted to bridge that gap for women and lower class students. And then I, went into education, and I really wanted to help just kids feel excited to learn. But I was always just listening to those whispers. Where am I supposed to go? Where am I supposed to go? And always having to be okay with cutting ties, even if I really thought that was my path. Like, I always had to be okay with, like, changing course, even if I really thought that was my path. And I always wondered, like, where I was going. And in 2020, I started leading meditations. It was a beautiful gift from the divine to me. I know that many of you have experienced some of my meditations, and you often share some of your experiences with me about them. But for me, while this is a gift from me to you, it is truly a gift from the divine to me. Like, I feel that in my heart. And when I get to lead a meditation, it's just such a beautiful experience and precious experience. And I always thought I would start a retreat center. I was just kind of there once I started this path. And I was sharing a little bit with Scott yesterday about this. I even had this astral projection experience where I landed in the retreat center that I was to start. And I was looking for myself. I was like, where am I? Where am I? I was like trying to find myself. That's so funny. It's like, yeah, it was a metaphor for that time in my life for sure. And one of the gentlemen that was there stopped me, and like I was trying to go into this library where I knew I was in that room, and he stopped me and he said, "You're too soon. There's pieces of this that you don't understand yet. You can't be here yet. You're not supposed to be here." And I was like, "No, I want to meet myself. I want to see, I want to understand." And he basically just pushed me out of it back into my body, and I'm back in my room, and I'm just like, all right, here I am. Okay, what was that? So I always knew that I was going to start this retreat center, but something in it was missing. And for a good 6 months, almost a year, in 2024, pretty much every day, I prayed and I asked God, what would you have me do? What would you have me do with all of this that you've brought me through, that you helped me learn? What would you have me do? Where am I to go? How am I to share? How am I supposed to do work by your will, not my own, but by your will? What would you have me do? And every day. And I just kept getting, just wait, you don't have all the answers yet. Just wait, you don't know yet. Just wait, it's not time yet. And then in September of 2024, our beloved best friend Tobias passed away. And if any of you have ever had a relationship with an animal of any of any kind, you know how dear those relationships can be. But it was really as though that experience cracked something open within me. And it was like it's like where, you know, the wound is where the light gets in. And it ultimately was this changing of timelines. It really was. My life shifted course completely, more than I ever thought it would. I actually, what I'm doing now is something that, you know, I never, ever would have thought I would do or see myself doing. Like in so many ways, it feels so perfect and right in my heart. And at the same time, if somebody had told me 5 years ago that that was the missing piece of my retreat center was animals, I would have laughed and been like, I don't know. I love them, but I don't know anything. I don't know anything about them other than they're furry and cute and sweet and I love them. You know, that's what I know. But that was what it was. That was the missing piece. And I felt the call so strongly. I did a very deep, like spiritual kind of retreat to determine if this was really the course of my path. I didn't want to just go somewhere out of grief. I didn't want to just haphazardly change direction. I've always been where do I go? Where is this whisper taking me? And from the loss of Tobias, from the immensity of my journey up to that point, from the fact that it's so interesting. My daughter is 18. She's moving out of the house. I'm like, I'm done raising children, and I said I would never have any more kids, but now I'm going to have like dozens. I'm going to have so many, so many, because there's so many animals, you know. And it's funny because as I'm sitting here talking about that, one of our puppy dogs is like, you must let me into the room. So my daughter had to come and let him in because he's just outside the door crying. But anyway, from all of that, Paws Animal Wellness Sanctuary was born, which ultimately is a healing space for both humans and animals to help humans and animals reconnect with their own hearts as well as each other. So right now we're kind of in our beginning stages where we are a 501c3 nonprofit in Colorado. We're raising funds. We're searching for strategic partners, and we're searching for our permanent property because we're just running it out of my house right now, which is actually, for the short term, it's okay, but we can't do it forever in this way, especially just with licensing requirements and real world human stuff. So yeah, so that's, I mean, there's so much I could say about my journey, but I think that's probably a good place to pause because I've been talking for a moment.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read some of the comments that have been coming in while you've been speaking. Tia Therese writes, an instant calm happens every time I hear Khadije's first words. I'm so blessed to know and love her. Namaste. Ayada writes, me too. Carol writes, I was a member of her meditation group while I was overseas. I was always so appreciative of her voice and how she could help me be calm. And that was through COVID. So much gratitude for Khadijah. And then Susan Blomquist writes, your authentic share is so inspiring. No wonder your meditations are so grounded and heartful. Shoshana points out, Tobias gifted you in a very powerful way. Yeah. And so I want to say that I start my day quite often with Kadijé meditation, about 2 or 3 times a week. And it's a beautiful way to start my day. I kind of mix up Kadijé with some of my other favorite meditation voices. And I want to share with people, speaking of how wonderful her meditations are, so I want to encourage people to go to her YouTube channel. And on her YouTube channel, it's Soul Journey Wellness. Isn't that a beautiful name? Soul Journey Wellness on YouTube. And that's where you can find all of her different, and there's so many different options based on what you're looking for. Help with sleep, help with self-esteem, letting go, resetting. She's really just got, and of course, the whole Yoga Nidra series is amazing. That's often, sometimes I listen to that when I need time to go to sleep. So that's where you can get her beautiful meditations. But wait, there's more. What we also really want to do is encourage you to do what I've been doing. I've been participating in her program here. So go to Pause Sanctuary. Now that's spelled Pause, sanctuary.com. PauseSanctuary.com. You can learn all about what she's doing. And please put in your email address and subscribe and join her family. And of course, she periodically, usually about once a month, she does an event where she leads a meditation. We come together, we get the details, we can donate a little bit of money, and it's really important. And I always enjoy her monthly Pause, P-A-U-S-E, for Pause, P-A-W-S. So let's all support her. She's going to lead a meditation, and then we're going to roll straight from that meditation into a beautiful video from Tatiana, and then we'll have a chat with Tatiana. So thank you, Kadijé, for being with us.
Oh, yeah, Scott, 10 minutes. Is that okay for the
Perfect.
meditation? Okay, great. So if you've never done a meditation with me, welcome. And if you're used to this, then you know kind of how these already work. The live ones, at least, are channeled experiences. Sometimes I think I know what we're going to do, and then Spirit, it's like, you thought. It's kind of funny. So tonight, after when we were sitting in the spoken word and we were listening to the chanting, it was very clear call, a very clear call that the only point of this meditation is to rest in the heart. That is where we're headed. That's what we're going to do. That's where we're going to stay. And so no matter what happens, no matter where your mind goes, no matter what happens in your environment around you, just keep coming back to your breath and keep coming back to your heart. So I'm going to just get my screen set up for everyone. Okay. Thank you all so much for being here. It's an honor. I'll see you in the field. Welcome, dear ones, to this guided meditation, intentionally designed and carved out of time for you to rest in your precious heart. Gently begin deepening your breath. Allowing your awareness to settle into this precious present moment. no matter what has come before or what is to come after. You are right where you need to be, right here, right now. So allow yourself to be fully in this moment, in this experience. As we begin settling in to the Sacred Heart. Letting your awareness float into your heart center as your breath deepens a little more. Feeling the gentle beating of your divine heart. Allowing each beat to bring you back to the present moment. When the mind strays, tries to carry you away, gently observe whatever arises, and then call your awareness back to your breath, back to the beating of your divine heart. Settling in a little more to this precious place within you. Embracing this opportunity to rest in the heart. You are right where you need to be. Perfect and whole just as you are in this moment. Allow yourself to be here fully. Allow yourself to settle in a little more to your precious heart. There is nowhere else to be but here. Gently reconnect with the beating of your heart. For a moment, more deeply remembering the love that you are. As you gently begin allowing your awareness to drift back into the physical space that holds you. Allow yourself to maintain this connection with your divine heart, with this precious present moment. Begin inviting gentle movements into the fingers and toes. Allowing the body to move in any way it wishes to move. And when the moment feels right, gently open your eyes. And allow your awareness to return to this brand new moment in precious present time.
so very much. We're going to roll right into Tatiana.
Everything is breathing in. Everything is breathing out. The whole universe is breathing with me. Everything is opening. Everything is closing in this universe. I feel the breath of the universe rushing through my body. The breath of the universe, the breath of life. I am breathing. I am feeling. I am alive. I am a mystery. Everything is breathing in. Everything is breathing out. The whole universe is breathing with me. The earth breathes. The stars breathe. The whole universe breathes. The universe is rushing through me. Breathing in, I am the universe awakening. Breathing out, I am the universe remembering. I am life, connected to all living things. The earth breathes in the ocean tides that rise and fall. The stars breathe, expanding and collapsing in cycles of creation and destruction. Cherub Chama, great primordial mother, mother of all Buddhas, embodiment of the loving nature of this universe. Breathing in, I receive your love. Breathing out, I let go and release all things unto you. Great Mother, Life Giver, breathe me open to greater life.
I'm going to go to gallery view for a moment and just send our appreciation to Tatiana for that just incredibly exquisite video on the heels of such a beautiful meditation from Khadijah. Just a beautiful back-to-back from the next generation of leaders. And I'm going to bring up Tatiana for a moment.
Tonight is just incredible. I am just feeling so moved. The tribute, Gary, that you made to Michael Stillwater just pierced straight through to my core. I'm feeling, and then Khadijah's meditation and your story, Khadijah. Susan made a comment that there are masters here tonight, and I truly am feeling that.
Well, both of you are carrying the mantle, of the next generation, and you're just getting started. It's really, really cool kind of knowing you both at the beginning of your significant professional journeys. And whether I'm watching you from in the body or whether I'm watching you from up high, I definitely look forward to following both of you. Just as we heard a little bit about Khadijah's journey, I also know, Tatiana, that you went through many, many years of big physical challenges where you were very deep within before coming back out into the world. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about your journey and how it feels for you now to become, recognizing that you are more and more becoming someone that is a source of significant inspiration for others.
I'm just going to put you on gallery. There we go. So I see all your beautiful faces. Yeah, thank you, Scott, for the question and this invitation. It's interesting how our experiences through childhood, how our experiences and how we're shaped and formed, and the challenges that we come into contact with, which can be so painful, ultimately are what prepares us for what we're here to serve and give. And that was certainly the case for me as well. Looking back now, I understand so much better that I was just born into this family where my matriarchal line held a lot of trauma, nervous system trauma, like so much fear was in my family system, especially in the women. And then by the time I was 18, it was like I had just stopped sleeping. Like I couldn't sleep anymore. It was just sleep was removed from me. I remember the first night that I experienced the insomnia, I went the entire night without any rest. And at that time, I didn't understand my nervous system. I didn't understand that I was trapped in a fight and flight response, that I was trapped in a freeze response. I didn't understand what was happening to me. I just knew that I was living in a chronically dysregulated state. And I was able to sustain that for, all through my 20s, pretty much. I just learned to live over top of this high level of dysregulation and anxiety. And I didn't have words to call it anxiety until I had a burnout experience that leveled me completely. And my body finally, Gabor Mate has that book, When the Body Says No. And the patterns that I was living inside of finally, and I could feel that I was approaching this threshold, this like period. It was like I could feel that I was fraying the life force energy in me by living within this state of such deep chronic, I'm going to just call it anxiety right now. And I was at the time touring a lot. I had a music career and I was traveling around the world living with this in kind of constant turmoil. And I remember on my trip home from Pakistan, I'd been in Pakistan for this youth summit and had played there. And I could feel as the plane, actually, as the plane took off to that country, that I had pushed my system to its absolute limit, and that this trip was a mistake. Like I could feel as the plane took off. And I survived that journey, but as I touched back down into Canada after I returned, it was as if someone had pulled the batteries out of my body, and I spent, and I got home and I couldn't actually get out of bed. I was like completely housebound, and I spent 7 years like slowly rebuilding my body and my health and understanding what were the patterns that led to this like really, really dramatic burnout. And that experience, I moved to the country. I moved into my grandparents' basement, and I slowly began this deconstructive process, understanding, what was I pushing my system so hard for, first of all, so unbelievably hard. What was this internal pressure that had me hurting myself, basically? And what were the patterns that were inside my nervous system that were creating this deep, deep feeling of anxiety and dysregulation? And that really led me into the world of somatics, into a spirituality that brought me home to the body, that saw the wholeness of the whole human being. My spirituality before them was really this up and out, like trying to transcend this human experience to pretty much I was doing a big spiritual bypass. And this journey like pulled me down into the body, into a totally different speed. I'd been going so fast, it taught me how to really slow myself down. And I began, a really deep healing journey then, which has led me into what I feel like I'm now transmitting to others, which is a frequency of peace, a nervous system that is regulated and balanced, embodiment, the importance of our spirituality really being anchored in the body, compassion, deep, deep compassion for this human experience, and a real calling also for the rising of the sacred feminine wisdom in the world. She's coming through so strong in so many of us. And I feel that wisdom as like a deep valuing of life, not a transcendence of it, which so many of our traditions also have promoted for many, many generations. So yeah, I've been talking for a while. Scott, maybe you want to jump in if you have
Well, it's beautiful. And I think what's important is that for all of us to realize that sometimes you can go through a big downtime and come out of it kind of like the phoenix rising. I always have this, I often use this photo behind me, the lighting of the eighth fire, because it's the phoenix rising from the ashes. And the way that you've come through, both you and Khadijah, coming through really hard times and then just shining so brightly and being such a source of inspiration. It's very, very, very beautiful. Yeah.
Well, I could say one thing about that, which I've been really appreciating learning, is the underworld passages for the feminine. That the feminine really is called, let's put it back into gallery, into these deep alchemical underworld initiations. And that's how we rebirth ourselves again and again. The feminine, actually, when we're in our deep wisdom stream, we learn how to die and be reborn over and over and over again. And our culture so much like promotes just constant progress on a linear time track towards some achievement, and the feminine, we're cyclical, we're deep. When we attune to ourselves, there's like, yes, we go through these initiations into the dark, into the underworld, but we recognize that as part of our transformation and transmutation and empowerment. And yes, when we complete an underworld initiation, when we emerge, we have more wholeness, more of our own self-knowledge intact that we then get to share until we keep going through the next one. But I feel like I understand, well, we'll see, but like understanding that better, I feel we can move through them maybe with more grace and maybe quicker than the first round.
Ideally,
Ideally.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go to your website in a moment. And is there any offerings in particular you want for our audience to know about?
Sure. Well, I just released, as you know, a new album, Lullabies for Adults, and I so encouraged, the song that we just played was from that album, to go listen to my album. You can find it on Spotify, follow me on YouTube, send me, sign up for my mailing list also if you're interested. But yeah, that album just released, and it's something I really would love to spread far and wide for anyone who needs support, you know, dropping into their bodies, calming their frequency, coming into peaceful coherence. Yeah, that album is just pretty new still, and something I'm very excited to share. And then I do a lot of work with women, women's circles, women's workshops, programs. So if anyone's interested, I have a new one that's coming up really, really soon.
And is that the Women's Ceremonial Choir?
That's in person here, so I don't know that. And if anyone's close, please come. That's every Thursday. It's not actually on here yet. It's called the Wildly Creative Women Membership, and it's gonna be for any woman here who feels like they have like a creative project they want to give birth to. It's gonna be a space, like a really supportive, held space for our voices to start to be shared with the world. And we're gonna be doing twice a week work, like really supported work parties, basically, to just, if you're here, if you need to write or to create your business or whatever it is. But I just feel like, especially with what's happening in the world right now, women rising into our leadership is so vitally important, and so many women have a message and a mission, and maybe we're procrastinating, or we have resistance, or we don't believe in ourselves, or there's fear around sharing our voice and stepping forward. So the Wildly Creative Women Membership is really to like be that amplifying boost to actually step forward. And I don't have it on my website yet, so it's coming out in April. So if anyone's interested, please send me a message.
Yeah, so you can contact her through her website. Again, it's TatianaSpeed.com. And once you do have like a poster or something for it, send it to me and I'll pop it into the Global Peace Tribe announcements.
Okay, amazing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Tatiana, thank you so much. You know how much we all love you. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of comments in the chat box for you to enjoy in a moment. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Speaking of Global Peace Tribe announcements, when we get to that a little bit later on in the show, I see that Trudy and Swami are in the audience. And if you're still with us, I'll pop you on to share a little bit about what you're going to be doing both live and online, Swami. And, you know, it's such a perfect segue because she was just talking about the rise of the divine feminine. Of course, we've done many, many shows about that. Strong believer in how the feminine now really is leading, whether it's the feminine within a male gendered person or actual female gendered people. And I'm so excited to introduce our next guest. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a video of her on the Today Show with Michelle Obama. And then I'm going to introduce Connie, who brought her to our attention. And then we're going to meet Monica, who's coming to us all the way from Uganda. But to get a taste of the wonderful work that Monica is doing, let's take a look at this video.
Well, you mentioned Jenna. This work has already been done. It started to be beginning, and she actually traveled to East Africa to connect with a remarkable woman who is creating change in her community, and she is joining with Mrs. Obama's Global Girls Alliance. She's an adoptive mother of 9 children, and as you're about to see, an inspiration to thousands more.
14-year-old Nellie is about to do something many girls her age have given up on. Every morning she leaves the tiny shack she shares with her mother and sisters and walks 2 miles to school. Nellie is unusual because in Uganda, only 2 out of 10 girls make it past the 7th grade. Nearly half are married by the time they're 18.
There's no one telling them you can't do it. All they hear is that you're stupid, you can't do it.
Monica Niraguhabwa was told that too.
You never saw a woman drive? Never, never.
Growing up in the slums of Kampala, even her own parents told her not to bother with school.
Boys are always given the priority. They're taught to be confident, and the girls are taught to be submissive, taught to be quiet, taught not to be loud.
Not to use their voice.
And not to use their voice.
Any money the family could scrape together went to her brother's education first.
I had my first shoe when I was 13 years old.
13 years old.
When I got those shoes, it was like the best day of my life. But I realized that really, from my own family, it's a curse to be a girl. This is wrong. Something needs to change.
So Monica turned that curse into a crusade, demanding that she go to school too and becoming the first in her family to graduate from college.
Are we together?
But instead of leaving these slums, she came back.
You went to university in London. Yes. You could have stayed there. And I could have stayed there, but I said no, this is not who I am. Because if more and more educated girls left, then who will do it?
So she created Girl Up Uganda, a program that teaches all girls to demand more. At this market, they're not just cleaning up trash, they're also picking up important leadership skills. Each is teamed up with an older sister.
Someone that you can talk to, someone who says they believe in you. Welcome.
She shows me how it works at Missouri Designs, where women teach each other to sew, creating beautiful dresses and handbags. Remember Nellie? Her dream is to be a fashion designer. So a seamstress takes her under her wing, showing her how to make her own dress.
What do you think? It's amazing. Yeah. Exposing a girl like Nellie, and you can sit on this machine. Tomorrow she'll be a fashion designer. She'll be a big deal in New York. She'll be a big deal in Uganda.
Can I wear your clothes when you come to New York? But before that can happen, a girl once afraid to raise her hand in class will have to overcome her fears at a neighborhood fashion show.
She's going to walk on the catwalk. She's going to walk on the catwalk and show the power that there is in girls.
A beautiful transformation that proves when given the chance, every girl can be a star. Even Nellie's mentor is moved to tears.
Why were you crying? I'm so happy. May I have a tear of joy.
Does it make you proud?
Yeah.
And is your job done?
Not yet, it's just starting. Until every girl is touched, I'm not leaving. When I see these girls smiling, happy, being confident, being able to raise their heads to speak out, I see the world that I wanted for myself. Now I see that it's possible for them.
You did it! All right, and we are delighted to have my hero, Monica, here with this morning. We loved spending time with you at your organization. You've helped thousands of kids stay in school and dream big, including, of course, Nellie, and you're our hero. Is it amazing to be part of this?
It's very exciting for us globally to say we need to prioritize on girls' education. The time is now. We need to work as a collective to raise arms to say this is that time. We need to rally around the Global Girls Alliance and say it's time for girls. Girls now, girls are the future.
Girls are the future. Y'all can learn more about her story at today.com. Savannah and Hoda.
Jenna, thank you. Michelle, you met her yesterday. Your eyes are welling up. It's a moment. She is phenomenal, and she is one of millions. And that's what this alliance is intended to do, to find energy and leadership like that and lift it up and support it and fund it. One of the best parts of the Alliance is the fund that will allow people, teaming up with GoFundMe, and people right now, if you hear about these programs, you can learn about them online, but you can help support them in real time. And that's what people like Monica need. They need resources on the ground.
So I am going to introduce another leader in her own right. She's been on the show that we did recently on The Rise of the Divine Feminine. And she is Connie Viveros. And Connie is who introduced us to Monica. So a big thank you to Connie. And I'm going to turn it over to you to kind of complete the introduction as we bring Monica up.
Well, thank you. I'm just giddy. Thank you, Scott, so much for having us and including Monica and me today. It's truly meaningful to be part of this conversation, especially on the eve of International Women's Day, which is tomorrow, by the way. So we're reflecting on the power of educating and empowering girls all across the world. It reminds me that when women are given opportunity and support, they step into they help shape the world to a more compassionate, balanced, and hopeful future for all of us. So thank you. It's really an honor to be here on this auspicious day. But I want to put the focus back upon Monica and what we're here to talk about. It's an honor for me to introduce someone who has been a part of my life for more than 16 years. I met Monica during my own work in Uganda. I was traveling there back in 2009, 2010. And from the very first moment I sat with her, I saw something special, and it was impossible to miss. There was a brilliance, a determination, a sense of purpose that felt bigger than the circumstances that she was living in at that time. And over the years, our relationship grew into something very special. At times, I've mentored her. At times, I've supported her. Other times, I've partnered with her in her work. But we've always been friends. We've always had a deep friendship. I'm the elder, the mothering energy in her life. She's the same age as my eldest daughter. So it was a real synergy there. And I can honestly say, given what you just saw, she did not know she was going to be put on camera on the Today Show. That was all spontaneous, just from her heart. And I just want to say that knowing Monica has changed my life as much as anything that I ever could have contributed to hers. When I first traveled to Uganda, I was so humbled as a woman, a white privileged woman living in the West. I had not ever fully understood the realities that so many girls in the world face just to get an education and to stay safe and to have a chance to dream about their future. And so I remember asking myself, how can this be in a world by being determined by where a girl is born in the world determine some of these circumstances? And that really bothered me. And when I met Monica, she was a rare woman who had pushed through boundaries and barriers that so many girls are facing. And she not only broke these barriers, but she finished high school and then went on to complete college. And from there, even going on to complete a master's degree at the University of London. So what struck me is not what she had achieved for herself, but the vision that she carried for other girls, that she believes deeply in, that every girl in her country deserves the same opportunities that she has fought so hard to reach. And I just never forget, I used to say, how can we create more Monicas? That's what the world needs. We need to create more Monicas, and how can I help? And that question has guided our friendship and our work through the last 16 years together. And today she is the founder and executive director of Girl Up Initiative Uganda, an organization that she has built from the ground up through years of struggle through years of uncertainty, through faith, courage, and an unwavering commitment to changing the lives of tens of thousands of girls across her own country and help them stay in school, help them find their voice, help them become leaders, and helping them believe in themselves, just like I believe in her. And she has many mentors. I am one of many privileged mentors that she works with throughout the world, Michelle Obama included, and even Oprah Winfrey has been inspired by her. So I've had the privilege of watching her grow from a young woman with a dream into a leader who's now inspiring all these young women in Uganda. She is an inspiration and a role model in Uganda and now globally. And tonight, I want you to meet the leader that the world sees, but the woman that I've had the privilege of walking beside for 16 years. She's living proof that when you invest time, energy, resources into a girl, a woman, that you can change the future of many. And so please join me in welcoming the voice of my friend, an extraordinary leader, one of the most courageous women I've ever known in my life, Monica Niraguhabwa. And with that, Monica, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to work with you in this way. How are you, my friend?
Thank you. Thank you, Connie, for that introduction and a bit of history of our journey. It's been 16 years and I'm grateful. Thank you, Scott, for inviting me to this divine space. I just feel so divine. It's a Sunday morning, my end. So happy Women's Day from my end in Uganda. I would love to share a bit about the journey and how I became the woman that I am today. I was born and raised in a typical slum community. I just want to paint a picture of what a slum community looks like in my context. A place where the drainage is an issue, a place where the garbage system is an issue, a place where there are just so many houses squashed to each other, a place that really has no privacy. So I was born in such a context, and I grew up in that same context. I went to school in public school. Imagine a school that has 100 children being managed by one teacher. For some of the schools, there is no furniture in the classrooms, and so you have to sit down. Imagine a context where you go to school and do not have lunches. So really you're studying practically on an empty stomach. So I grew up in such a dynamic. And for me, besides the environmental challenges that I saw within my own family, I grew up in a space where I wasn't prioritized as a girl. And so my education came second. I normally had to wait for my brother's tuition. In Uganda, school is not free. We pay to be in school. We pay school fees. So I always had to wait for my brother in case our parents did not get the money on time. He had to go first, then I go second. So as a kid, I kept on asking why, but I never gave it attention until after keeping in school, I realized that it's such a big world of patriarchy that I grew up in. But for me, growing up in such circumstances, I always knew that I had to stay in school. I don't know how, but I just felt that school was that refuge that I had that believed in me. I believed that school was that one thing, that education was that one thing that I had, because I had a lovely family, but they were equally victims of a patriarchal stereotype that they were really reinforcing on us as a family. So growing up in that, I remember saying that the first person that showed me that she really believed me was my high school teacher, who said, Monica, I see you. I see a leader in you. I believe in you. And that changed the trajectory of how I looked at myself, how I perceived myself. And so I took on leadership in secondary school, what you call high school, very seriously. This leadership took me to university. I was a leader at university. I went and pursued education. I was able to analyze the contextual issues around violence, around patriarchy, around gender, and around why I grew up in a box. I grew up in a box where you're told you do not raise your hand talking to an adult, you don't raise your voice. Like I grew up in that box. And so for me, being in school helped me navigate ways of how do I break out of this bondage? How do I break out of this box? And so when I graduated out of school, I just told myself, enough is enough. I need to start a movement that will help challenge the negative stereotypes that myself suffered, but also what I've seen in my community. I remember always going back home from school, and I would find that the girls I went to school with in primary school, in elementary school, were pregnant, and they were mothers, yet I was in high school. So for me, it was about how do I just start a movement that will help challenge and say enough is enough. You can't continue treating girls as second-class citizens in this country. So I started Girl Up from a place of love and passion, but also from a place of pushing back and saying girls need space where they can be heard. They need space where their voices can equally be heard, whether it's at home, whether it's at school. And so we've grown the program looking at the girl as working around her social empowerment, but also now we've grown the program into an ecological system that you don't only work with the girl, but you work with the boys, because we need boys and men as allies. You work with the teachers to ensure that you create safer school environments for both girls and boys to thrive. You work with local leaders because they're the same people who institute laws, but how can they be more of champions of girls' education, champions of ensuring both children are in school? And so this program was born out of my own passion, love, but now it's been a bigger institution that really champions girls' education in Uganda, but also influences global conversations around the world when it comes to girls' social empowerment. And that's how I met Michelle Obama. That's how I met Oprah Winfrey. And I think for me, doing this work, I've always known that the divine has led me to this work. I don't think I would have made it all these years doing this work, because it's definitely challenging to raise resources. It's challenging to stay on track. It's challenging to hear all the stories that girls and women face and you remain sane. Everything is challenging. And so I believe that the divine has purposed for me to lead this work. And I'm so grateful for communities around the world, and Connie finding me as a young girl out of university, very naive, and just holding my hand and supporting me, encouraging me, saying, you can make it. We can have more and more girls trained, empowered, supported. And I've seen that in these last 16 years. I've seen girls come off the program and go to parliament and speak to members of parliaments, advocating for spaces to be carved for girls' voices to be heard in such high policy decision-making spaces. I've seen the girls who've gone through the program come back to work for Girl Up and then give back to the communities. I've seen girls restore hope. I've seen girls stay in school. I've seen myself fighting, not physical fighting, but fighting with the system to ensure that one girl wasn't married off and now she's heading to university. Her parents wanted to marry her off at 13, and I was called and said, Girl Up, what can you do about this? And I'm like, I've never really worked around legislation. What do I do? So I've seen the organization like challenge itself to do things that we've never done, just to make sure that we create more safer communities and environments for girls to thrive in this world. So what brings me to this work is the fact that my teacher believed in me and she believed in my leadership, and therefore I'm hugely invested in supporting girls' leadership, because I know that every leader we create in a program is able to champion change in our own right, in our own life, in the life of our family, in the life of her community. And so for me, even as the world grapples around so many global challenges, for me, I always tell myself the solution is in investing in girls and women, because when a girl is supported, when a girl is educated, she'll educate her children. When a girl is educated, she'll support her family. When a girl is educated, she'll live an abusive marriage. When she grows, she'll live an abusive marriage and live a safer life. When a girl, I mean, there's just so much. When a girl is educated, we shall have safer health outcomes. So for me, I feel that the solution to addressing all the challenges we have in the world is starting from the feminine, starting with the girl, starting from working with a girl, later who becomes a woman, and this woman is able to be a leader that influences generations of leaders. But also I've come to learn that working with boys and men is such a sweetheart in a way that it helps us take care of so many milestones, because when you have generations of male and female and people are coming together in sync and addressing issues together, I mean, it's a beautiful world that I see possible. And that is really what brings me to this work. And so I just want to be grateful for all the women, all the men on whose shoulders I stand today, because as a leader, I won't say that I was born a leader, but I was nurtured. I could have had characteristics of a leader, but the right mentors, the right nurturing, the right belief from the communities has really helped me steward my leadership, and also supported me to say, how do we create more generational leaders that will come after us, that will come after me? How do we make sure that that leadership continues to flow in the younger generation, that tomorrow are the people that will be stewarding or in this place where I'm standing? So that's a little bit about me. I enjoy doing my work, that I'm happy to wake up very early just to talk about it and just to be in community with all of you. And I'm so excited to be part of this community. Thank you very much.
It's early morning in Uganda, where Monica's coming to us from. So thank you for getting up so early. And when we met yesterday, you mentioned, I think you now have 34 or 35 women that you're employing. Can you share with our audience, because we're going to ask for people to donate in a moment. And so can you share with our audience a little bit about how that works? What kind of jobs and positions you're providing for young women in Uganda?
And men.
And men. Oh, good to know. Thank you.
Yes. So we have 35 employees, only 10 are men. The rest are women, and it's very intentional for us to really carve out employment spaces for women. And these are women and men who have equally grown up in the same contextual issues. So they understand the issues, but they are graduates who have gone to school, graduated, qualified. And for most of them, Gallup has been their professional launchpad. And we've seen employees last up to a span of 7 to 10 years. Because when we come to do this work, we come as community, we come as family, because this work is tough already. So we do not operate as a typical corporation, but we operate as a family, because there are those values that we uphold. The values of spirituality is one of them, that every morning before we start work, we gather and we're able to say a prayer, and one of us has to lead us in prayer to start the day. But the values of family, the values of community, and that is what has helped me grow a bigger team. And besides working with girls in the schools, maybe let me talk about numbers. Every year, we reach at least 3,000 adolescents directly through our in-school programs, working with each individual throughout the year, appreciating who they are, appreciating their stories, journeying with them. And we also support some of the critical cases that we kind of get to establish as part of the relationship, and support girls who could have otherwise dropped out of school with scholarships. So we supported 511 girls last year with scholarships through primary school, secondary school, and we have about 6 girls in university. Our programs have grown that beyond the school, we also recognize that there are girls who took a non-formal pathway to education, which is vocational education. So we run a fashion and design house where girls are trained how to sew as seamstresses, and then we are able to refer them or link them to potential employers as we strive to make sure that beyond the skill, they actually have livelihoods. We've gone ahead to integrate apprenticeships for girls in mechanics to ensure that as girls take on male-dominated fields of practice, they equally have an organization that can help negotiate spaces for them to be employed. Because the community I come from do not anticipate going to a garage and finding a female mechanic. So we are trying to work with communities to challenge what they think and then offer apprenticeships for those girls, but also negotiate that they get hired in those places where they take on apprenticeships. So the program has grown bigger, but at least every year we are sure that we are able to reach 3,000 girls annually, directly working with them, knowing each story and transforming each life.
Right, right. And I just want to say to everyone here, if you've not traveled to Africa, just in general, and particularly East Africa and Uganda in particular, the majority of the country is slum communities. The capital city of Kampala, I think, is comprised, it's a 30 million live in Uganda total. I think probably half live in the city and the outskirts of Kampala. And Monica's courage and her strength, her leadership, and the love that she has and holds for these girls reminds me every day that real change happens when someone doesn't look away, but stays to serve and keeps believing what is possible for these girls to have an education. And the primary and even the secondary high school education are no longer enough. We need to be training them and putting them in service. I'm wearing, by the way, one of the Missouri designs, one of the necklaces that her students purchase, and they're beautiful accessories even for us Western women. But one thing I've always admired about you, Monica, as we close, is you face so many challenges that would have stopped many people. And yet you remain grounded, you remain so focused. Where does your strength, your purpose, and your faith come from? Is it the girls themselves, or, you know, what keeps you motivated and going each and every day to stay the course and to show up every day for the work that you do? Because she's impacting literally tens of thousands of girls and families in her country and beyond.
So what keeps me motivated, one, is God. I believe that God purposed for me to do this work in the world. And sometimes when I see organizations closing, programs closing, and we continue to show up every day, I say, God, this is you. I mean, the wisdom, the courage, that inner purpose comes from God. The other purpose comes from the girls. Every time I feel demoralized, demotivated, for some reason, a girl will come to me in the office and there's a girl who loves writing to me letters. Every time she comes on holiday, this is one girl, I want to share her story. She was 13 and she was working as a nanny in a home to be able to go to school. She used to do work as a maid. And so when she got into the Gala program, I think 7 years ago, yes, she had the program, but she was facing deeper rooted issues. So when she reached out for counseling and we talked to her, we got to know that beyond the lively girl in class, she's really facing so much hardships. When she got into secondary school, she dropped out, and immediately we picked her on for the scholarship program. She just has 1 year to get to university. And every time she's in boarding school, every time she writes for me sweetheart letters, she's like, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be going to university next year. You've kept my hope alive. You've restored me. So my energy comes from the lived stories of those girls. When I see a girl, when I see the progression, the transformation that our programs have had on each individual girl, I'm encouraged to keep on track. It's tough, but every powerful story reminds me that this is why the divine purposed you to be in this country to do this work. I would have been living maybe in California with you, Connie. I would have been maybe in London. But
Right.
there's just something that brings me back. I love to travel. I love to come and be in the US for some time. But there's just something that keeps me rooted in the ground when I see daily realities that are similar to the realities I went through. And being that Gallup is one of the outstanding organizations in Uganda that has stayed rooted on the issues of girls' education and empowerment, I'm like, you know what? It's no longer an organization, it's a movement. So wherever everyone is, you can be part of this movement, either as a girl, as a supporter, as a cheerleader. I mean, it's a movement that supports, that challenges all of us to be part of.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And people, all of you see speaking now, the Monica that grew up through these challenges, meeting world leaders, building partnerships. But the truth is, you know, the organization goes through trials, tribulations, and struggles each and every day, and the sheer determination that she has to keep things going. So tonight, we just really want people to understand that, you know, it's not just what you do. So it's just believing in, and it's what keeps us going. And so we want to turn something really beautiful here into changing lives. And this is our introduction. This is our gift. And Scott, we can't even thank you enough for giving us this platform to just share these stories, because girls are living on the other side of the world, and yet they need us and we need them. Trust me, we are calling them in as they are calling us in. So it is a partnership in every sense of that. So again, thank you.
Absolutely. Well, let me show people. I want people to take a look at a pair of websites.
Thank you.
So for everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube especially, the primary website is girlupuganda.org. girlupuganda.org. And that's where you can really learn all about the various things that they're doing. There's the video we just watched about her being on the Today Show. And you can click donate right up here. So that's for those of you on Facebook and YouTube right now. Go to
Scott, there's a separate link.
I know.
Okay, sorry.
I get that. Trust me.
Sorry.
The thing is that other one is a very long website, which is hard for people watching on YouTube.
Got it.
The direct link to go to. So trust me, I know what I'm doing here. So
I'm sorry about that.
So again, for those on Facebook and YouTube, go to girlupuganda.org. Now, what Connie was so excited for us to recognize is that she took the time to put together a video, a special website just for us, just for the Global Peace Tribe. So for those of us who are in the YouTube or are in the Zoom room, use the link that I put in. It's a little bit too long for me to expect anybody to memorize, but if you use the link right there that's in the chat box, and then go to that link and then click donate now. And I'm going to donate. I'm going to kind of get us off to a start. So I'm going to donate $100. You know, I'll put it in honor and memory of my beloved wife, Suchi. You know, today happens to be the anniversary of when we were married. So it's a good time for me to do that. I will continue and do the rest of this in a moment after we go to our next piece. So I want to encourage everyone, please do donate. Everything matters, and it's so important for us to support this extraordinary work that Monica is doing and that Connie is supporting. And again, thank you, Connie, for bringing Monica to our attention. Monica is now a member of the new generation of leaders for An Awakening World, which is a synergy group within the auspices of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle. And the Evolutionary Leaders Circle was founded by Marianne Williamson and Michael Beckwith, and is something, of course, a lot of you who are regulars on this show have seen. A lot of my friends and colleagues that are part of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle. And now Monica is part of that group. So we're really excited about it. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you
Thank you
both.
for getting up early for us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, I am going to, we're going to shift for a moment because what I'm going to do now is recognize that it is the birthday week for one of our absolute most favorite people. And I'm looking for her. There she is. It's Eleanor Joy, and it's her birthday week. And of course, Eleanor Joy has been with us for so long and is one of our most beloved members. And I think you know by now, Eleanor Joy, what I'm going to ask you to do is to share with the audience your vision for this new cycle around the sun that you're about to begin. And I'm going to ask all of us to hold that vision for you. And then maybe Omashar might be able to come up with a little birthday song for you. But I'm going to take myself off spotlight, put the full spotlight on you.
Oh,
Please share with the audience what you want us to hold, what vision you want us to hold for you.
my main vision is simply to be present wherever spirit leads me and to allow the divine light and divine love to flow through me. And I have so much fun with this. I just meet people on the street. I like your coat. I like your jacket, whatever. And everybody has a smile and we all feel good.
Beautiful. Well, let's hold that vision and, of course, maximum grace for our
Thank you.
beloved Eleanor Joy, for radiant health and fulfillment, support, and love coming to her in all sorts of wonderful, wonderful ways. Happy birthday, and here is our beloved Omashar.
May the road rise up to meet you. May your troubles melt away like morning dew. I'm going to have to change something here because the key's too low. Here we go. There we go. That's nicer. May the road rise up to meet you. May your troubles melt away like morning dew. For 'tis on this day that we gladly pray that the happiest of birthdays comes to you. May the wind always be at your back. May your fortunes always bring you peace and joy. For 'tis on this day that we gladly pray that the happiest of birthdays comes to you. So to you,
whoops,
hold you in our hearts and minds so dear. For 'tis on this day that we gladly pray that the happiest of birthdays comes to you. Happy birthday, dear Eleanor. Happy birthday to you. For 'tis on this day that we gladly pray that the happiest of birthdays comes to you. For 'tis on this day that we gladly pray that the happiest of birthdays comes to you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Omashar. And we're going to go to gallery view, and let's all send lots and lots of love to our beloved, dearest, dearest, dearest Eleanor Joy. Maximum grace. We are going to go into some Global Peace Tribe announcements in a moment. My good friend Katrina Valancourt and I are going to share a little bit, but we have a celebrity in the audience. We have the wonderful Swami Steve and his beloved wife. As I always like to say, behind every great Swami, there is a Trudy.
A true delight. She's a true delight. So,
Delight. So welcome, beloved Steve and Swami. And I know you've got a couple of announcements to share.
well, first of all, I really wish we had been on a little earlier to say something about Michael Stillwater. You know, what you're doing here tonight, you're essentially honoring the past and you're helping bring forth the future. So this is really cool.
Yes.
And I remember my first memory of meeting Michael. This was probably in the late 1980s in Hawaii, and I had just brought forth the Swami character, and he had this wonderful character that he did called Guru Haagen-Dazs. Huggin, Haagen-Dazs, right? And they were like, he was kind of like a devilish Swami. It was so much fun. And we did a dueling gurus event. And Trudy and I have moved up to Ashland, Oregon, and we were so looking forward to his visit up here, which was supposed to be at the end of this month, March. And so it's even more poignant to be that close to being that close to him and having this happen. So I just wanted to honor him with that story about his amazing sense of humor. And the other thing is that we're going to be doing a program, Scott and I and the Swami, on what other day but April Fool's Day. And it's a full moon. So we're calling it a full moon celebration with Swami Beyondananda delivering a State of the Universe address, which happens every April Fool's Day, along with an announcement for his presidential campaign to create political climate change, warmer hearts and cooler heads.
Beautiful. And we're going to, of course, on April 1st, do an Awakening World show highlighting this. And you also have something happening at the Sunrise Center. And we do have some of our friends who are in the Bay Area. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, on Saturday, April 4th, we're going to be doing a program called Beyondananda and Beyond. Stand up with Swami, sit down with Steve, and the Swami will answer your questions and you'll question his answers. That's part of the first part of the program. And then I'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about the great upwising, where we wake up, wise up, grow up, and show up. And then on Sunday, Easter Sunday in the afternoon, we'll be doing a program called Defying Gravity, How Levity Lifts You Up in Unfunny Times. So this is a participation, it's a play shop, it's a way that hopefully you'll be able to bring more healing laughter and love to your community, the world at large and the world at small. You don't have to be a comedian, but you may end up one by the end. So hope you'll join us that weekend.
Fantastic. And a reminder, you can find all things Swami at one of my favorite titles for a website, so perfect for him, wakeuplaughing.com. And boy, in these times, we do need to wake up laughing, don't we? So
we need to wake up, that's for sure. And laughing is one of the best ways to do it.
Absolutely. Steve, it's always wonderful to be with you. Hello, Trudy. Thank you for taking such good care of our favorite Swami. And someday I'll do a dueling one with you, because for a long time, I've had Swami snatch of the dollar. So we'll have to do a dueling Swami someday. Now that Michael's no longer here to do that with you. All right.
Okay, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right, take care, brother.
Okay.
Well, the last announcement for right now, and then we'll do a couple more at the very, very end of the show. But I just want to let everybody know about something that I'm really excited about. You always hear me say at the beginning, I'm Love Coach Scott, but I don't talk that much about my love coach reality. But it's a big part of my reality. And I mentioned, actually, my wife's been on my mind a lot today, because today's the anniversary of when we were married. And of course, as many of you know, she passed away quite a while ago. And when she passed away, my best friend, Katrina Valancourt, and I decided to start the Love Coach Academy. And for me, at least, it was very much in honor of her, recognizing that I'm grateful for the years that I did have with her and wanting to support people to have the best relationships they can while they can. And since starting it, between Katrina and I, we've coached well over 1,000 couples and families and several thousand individuals. And we have decided that we are going to teach a course. And we both have done a lot of teaching, but it's the first time we've done this course together. And it's a course in relationship ministry. all about strengthening our communication, deepening connection, and we'll be providing tips, tools, and practices. It's going to be a 12-week course on Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock Pacific time, starting in early April. And I'm going to let my good friend and colleague Katrina tell you a little bit more about it.
I'm so delighted that we're going to be teaching this course again. Really, one of my very favorite memories is of doing an in-person workshop weekend. So certainly we're also looking at when we can make that happen, using these very tools. And of course, both Scott and I have gained a lot of experience, and we've also increased our tool set over these last, oh goodness, 14 years. But what I can say about these tools is they are absolutely transformational. They will empower you to shift your relationship to yourself, becoming more self-loving with everyone else, whether it's your intimate relationship, your friends, your family, people you work with. You'll find tools and methods that will support you to be able to stay in a place of centeredness, clarity, confidence, compassion, and presence with the other person, so that you're able to be present to whatever situation they're going through as well. And from that space, be able to navigate win-wins as a way of life. I just feel so much joy in my body when I think of this work, because I'm so aware of the contrast of my life 20 years ago before I started this work to where I'm at now. And of course, Scott has seen that entire trajectory from like serious relationship breakdowns, dealing with anxiety and depression and a lot of serious challenges, to a life that I would call gleeful and delightful, even in the midst of crazy things happening in the world. There's a way that we can anchor our joy, anchor our gratitude, and really be of service in a way that's nourishing. And I just can't even tell you what a gift that is. So I'm really looking forward to everybody who's going to join us, so that they can join in that gift of being able to empower love in yourself and in all the lives around you.
Well, thank you so much. We will, of course, I'm going to be sending out some emails to all of our subscribers about this. And I want to thank our Global Peace Tribers that came to, we did a little introductory, our first introductory today, this morning, and a lot of our Global Peace Tribers were there. So thank you for joining us. And more to come. And in the chat box are the links to where you can learn more about it. And Katrina, I love you so much. Thanks for popping in. My love to your husband, Stephen, for letting us have a little bit of your time here. And I'm glad you got a chance to meet Monica and the amazing work she's doing.
Yes.
And we're going to roll right into, it really is about turning it over to the women. Look at the amazing female leaders we've seen today. Khadijah, Tatiana, Monica, and now I get to introduce Katrina, and now I get to introduce another woman that I just have so much respect for. You've seen her on the show before, those of you that are regulars, and I am, of course, talking about Hannah Burke. I had the joy of watching Hannah do this wonderful show a few weeks ago that some of us went to. And actually on Wednesday, March 18th, we're going to see a significant segment of that show. But tonight, I'm going to ask her to share a little bit about her journey, just as we heard from Tatiana, Khadijah, Monica, about some of the challenges they've faced that have shaped them to become the women that they are. Likewise, Hannah also has quite a story. So I'm going to ask her to share a little bit of that. And then we have a beautiful video that Hannah has produced and is her music as well. But welcome to the Awakening World, Hannah. And thank you for waiting. I know it's been a little bit of a long show so far.
Everything in its right time. What an honor to be here with you, Scott, and everybody. What a rich, incredibly inspiring show. I am really touched to my core, just by everything people have brought forth, especially like Monica's video. I felt this like incredible energy surging through me of just inspiration for collective healing and empowering the feminine. And that is such a meaningful and important aspect and element of my personal life and the work that I'm here to bring forth. Work feels maybe not the right word, but truly like soul aligned mission. My path, I have walked through really early life, intense darkness, deep trauma that left me incredibly disconnected from myself from a young age, and just no real lineage, no real pathway for how to get reconnected to myself, to understand through compassion what was going on through me. And I now understand that as my soul's journey through the underworld. That was the initiation for me to rebirth myself, remember how to heal myself through all realms and dimensions of reality. Um, I I really truly honor this spiritual principle and connection to the God Source, Divine Mother. Holy Father has been present guide as well, but mostly my North Star has been the Divine Mother, who I affectionately call Sophia, but I welcome all names of God. And yeah, she has definitely been my guiding light in remembering there is a much grander, bigger picture unfolding on this planet that we are all a part of at this time. And we are, I believe, co-creating a vision for a new earth where we get to walk this earth in integrity and in right relationship with our soul and our own inner wisdom, with the earth and nature, with each other, and with the divine. And it's a deep process of remembrance. And there's so much healing and alchemical transformation that's needed, and we really activate one another and remember through each other, shining brightly and speaking about both what we've survived and healed from, but also our inspiration and our vision, why we stay so connected to purpose in this very harrowing and very tender time unfolding on our planet. I personally feel deeply tender right now, just personal, deeper levels of healing in my life. And I'm, watching what's unfolding in the world with just a huge prayer for may the higher realms of light move through all of us and really encode back into this reality so we can restructure things in a way that is honoring of life, a principle of the sacredness of life at the core. And yeah, oh my gosh, I feel some sadness coming up as I name that because, it's not like that was the world I was born into. There wasn't necessarily like a reverence for life. Very material kind of culture world. And I came in deeply attuned to subtle energies and incredibly sensitive, more sensitive than people around me knew what to do with. And that's a gift that serves me today as a healer. I'm incredibly skilled at navigating trauma, alchemical transformation, higher self integration, and embodiment today. But that gift has come at a cost, and I honor it deeply today. So Yeah, the last few years of my spiritual path have been the most deeply transformative. It started with a glimpse of the Divine Mother, of her unconditional love, truly her radiant light, and just awakening a remembrance in me of there's something more here that I forgot. And I want to remember fully. I want to remember fully who I am as a soul. And I want to feel connected to the power of God's love and grace moving through me so I can inspire other people to remember how unconditionally loved they are and God's love and grace moving through them. And yeah, I am excited to share a work of art that I created in these last couple of years. It was a song that came through me in 2020. I've shared it live on the show a couple of times, and of course, it was part of the ritual theater, transformational ritual theater show I was just part of called Let the Wind Sweep Through, a conference of birds that Scott came to, along with some others. And yeah, it's a song that is here for our times to help us face our own darkness, our own shadows, and remember that we are divine, and like facing this monumental weight that we have forgotten that on some level to various degrees. And may we encode that remembrance into our being so we can reflect that to others in ever increasing measure. And when this song started to come through me in 2020, there was, of course, a worldwide lockdown happening, and I really sought refuge and sanctuary in nature. I would go out to the mountains. I would go out to Bolinas and Stinson and like the California coast and just walk. And some of these songs started to spiral through me. And I remember when Humble Like the Jungle started to come through me, I could feel this rhythm moving in me as I was like climbing these rocks at the end of the beach. And I started to feel the lyrical medicine coming with the rhythm. And I was starting to feel it line by line by line structuring inside of me. And I just kept repeating the lines out loud so I could remember it. And then all of a sudden it was like there was a full verse, and I knew I needed to write it down. So I ran back across the beach and I got to my car and opened my car and got my notebook, and I just started to write, and it poured out of me. It just came flooding through all at once. And funny fact, I've never really shared publicly before, but I originally wrote this song as a rap to an electronic beat that I had produced, and it ultimately became a folk song on guitar that I play. I call it my style of music, mystic folk music. And yeah, so it was fun. I had this kind of percussive lyrical style of just wanting to encode so much wisdom and information into a song. And rap is actually an incredibly potent vehicle for a lot of information in a song. So yeah, that song was born. I started stepping into performing, playing live, and I was approached by the director of this music video at the Wu Wei Tea Temple in Fairfax after I had played the song live, and he just comes right up to me and was like, my name's Sean Lim. I'm a filmmaker and I want to make your music video. And that began a 3-year process of us collectively dreaming the vision for what you're about to see momentarily. It was a 3-year process from the conception of the seed, the idea, the dream, to the last like 6-month period when we really got into finding the production crew and all of the elements coming together visually,
dynamically for us to bring it forth. And it was a massive effort and such an honor, such an honor. I consider the song like a song of Gaia, a song of her voice moving through me, and just her prayer for us, the healers who are here, to remember and unite, to come together in service to our awakening world, to this collective remembrance, and to ignite that dream alive here on the planet at this time. Yeah, I don't know what else to share. We released the music video 2 years ago. It won some awards at film festivals. It won Best Performance and the Marquee Award at the Locals Only Independent Film Festival in San Francisco. It was accepted into Berlin Commercial, a very prestigious film festival in Europe, which was amazing. And then it was invited to be part of another film festival here in the Bay Area as well. And so we just share it really from our hearts as art with a purpose, art with multidimensional intelligence encoded into it to help us knit those parts of ourselves back together. I am a deeply multidimensional being, and we explore that nature of reality in this film. It's really like me as myself, very wounded in what I sing about as the temple of defeat, or the belly of the beast, surviving this dark underworld and having visions of my higher self and future time, and weaving those parts of myself back together until I emerge intact, inner union, facing towards the sun, the light, with an inner knowing that can only really come through direct experience. And with that, I turn it over to Scott, and I'm excited to share this with you.
Here we go.
Holy Ghost, I'll make you proud. Yeah, you know I heard you crying out loud. I was born in the belly of the beast, in the middle of the night, in the temple of defeat. I am here cause you called my name. Now the demon tried to snuff your flame. Cold desire, let the fire burn and be. For the elemental nature of my soul is flying free. Fuck this hell and all the damage done. Mother knows that the war's been won. Now's the time for the healers on the run to steady up the beat and the rhythm of the drum. Meditate, let it all arise. Celebrate every tear in your eyes. You're brave for just being alive, with the monumental weight of forgetting you're divine. I am humble like the jungle. I am bleeding, can you feel me? I am humble like the jungle. I am bleeding, can you feel me? When you remember that you chose your life, there's no need for you to run and hide. I'm sick and tired of the shame and deceit, and the fear of never knowing when the mission is complete. There's a presence trying to steal your mind. Move your shadows out into the light. Choose to love and you will heal in time. telling all the damage done. Mother knows that the war's been won. Now's the time for the healers on the run to steady up the beat and the rhythm of the drum. Meditate, let it all arise. Celebrate every tear in your eyes. You're brave for just being alive with a monumental weight of forgetting you're divine.
We're going to go to gallery view for a moment for us to just. What an incredibly gorgeous, haunting video. Very powerful. Very powerful.
Thank you so much. And yeah, some things are just meant to be shared through art.
There's so many comments that have come in. Shoshana, Carol, Trisha, Diara, or all David, your soon-to-be father-in-law happened to be on the show earlier today. So I kind of love how that all worked out totally coincidentally. So a lot of beautiful, beautiful messages coming in. I'll just read a few of them. Hauntingly beautiful, powerful, yes, haunting. Rise up, stirs up so many remembering of my other existences. Wow, stunningly beautiful. So well done. Wow, so true in expression of the divine feminine. Words fail me. What an intimately deepening creation. Thank you. This was haunting and deeply moving, yet strangely reassuring. And I only read about a third of the comments that have come in, Hannah. I'm excited because next week, or actually in 10 days, we're going to be able to go deeper with Hannah on our Wednesday, March 18th show. But between now and then, to get more, her website is her name, Hannah Bourke, although it's spelled B-O-U-R-K-E. So Hannah, Hanah, BOURKE.com. And she's obviously an extraordinary songstress, but she's also a remarkable healer. And she provides Reiki light body healing, intuitive alchemy readings, as well as group ceremonies. So for more information about all the wonderful things she does, please go to her website. I'll put that into the chat box. And is there anything you want to point out to the audience while we're on your website right now?
Well, the main thing that I'm holding right now is I work with people in one-on-one capacity deeply. As an intuitive guide, specifically an ascension guide, I help guide processes of alchemical healing, but also accessing the Akash, completing contracts in the spiritual realm that then integrate into our physical realm and relationships.
One of the things on my website that I'll just speak to, an upcoming creation, is I'm preparing to make another music video with the same director, Sean Lim. And at the bottom of my website, farther down, right after the testimonials, there, up, you passed it. Sorry. Go up just a little bit more. Those are some of my, that there, right there, that video. Underneath that video is a place where I have a link to a GoFundMe as we prepare to make another music video for my song Earth's Daughter. And this is going to be a video that explores what the healing, the transformational healing can look like in the world once we have, knitted that process inside. What does that look like when Divine Feminine Christ Medicine then creates impact in the world, and to restore right relationship by first doing that deep inner work in herself and then bringing that into the community and the collective. So that will be our next project. If you feel inspired, you can explore my website and want to donate to support that. We are going to be underway with that in the next year or so. And yeah, I'm so grateful to have been able to share this with you. Thank you. If you want to find the video for Humble Like the Jungle, it's available on YouTube as well as on my website. So I encourage you to watch it again on your own time if that felt right for you. But thank you. And it was so good to be with each and every one of you tonight.
Well, thank you very much. It's so inspiring, the incredible creativity of you and the other extraordinary women that we've seen tonight. And I look forward to many, many more times watching you grow, watching all of you grow and evolve, and doing our best to support you through the process. Thank you for being with us this evening.
Mutual support. You too, Scott. Thank you so much. Yeah.
And Hannah is also part of the New Generation Synergy Group within the Evolutionary Leaders Circle. All the women that you saw tonight are so. All right, I need to look at the agenda to see what's next. I'm kind of so blown away. It's prayer time. And so that's good. It gives me a chance to take a little break because I'm going to turn it over. I don't think Desiree is here tonight. So I'm turning it over to our beloved Tiara.
Thank you, Scott. And just basking in this magic, in this mystery, and the meditative music bringing us to the miracles, the statement that Scott and Kristen have shared for us for this year, or watching it unfold, and deeply moved by the ancient codes in what we just heard and witnessed, and taking that in to support this cosmic compost that we're going through, as we are also the phoenix rising, and calling in more energy now for us as individuals and collectives to support this process. And just breathing that in and carrying this magic into our next activities, whether it's rest or work or play, creation. And then requesting prayers for Omashar's mom, for our beloved Bonnie, for those that we know that are healing and recovering, healing prayers for friends, healing prayers for International Women's Day tomorrow. And again, taking this beautiful energy, this juxtaposition of all of it, and using it for the power of prayer, the power of healing. Jean Johnston, for everyone here in this beautiful global peace tribe and beyond. And just feeling that energy move deeper into the bodies that carry our beautiful souls. And just adding in more love to those tender places. And we may notice that we're moving from fragility into the tenderness that builds into strength. And we send this love and light out to all those places that may not have access in the way that we do through our technology, through our privilege. And we're so grateful for the work that we get to witness being done in the world. Connie and Monica. And may we have clarity what our next steps are to be individually and collectively. May we shine as we continue to move into thrival and forgiveness for those moments where we lapse into what can be seen as survival. And we give great thanks to all the help that's here for us now, this collective humanity in our evolution, in our rising. And we give great thanks for the compassion that's continuing to build within us, the work that Scott and Katrina are doing for self-love, self-compassion that spins out into the world, to all our relationships, to our beloved paws. We pause for the paws, all the animals, all the four-leggeds, the winged ones, the creepy crawlies. And we give thanks to our Godmother and our Godfather and all those that we pray to, inner and outer, and our beloved Earth, Mother Earth, Father Sky. And just feeling that power infuse the body, infuse the mind, infuse the heart. And surrounding us all with more love, more light, more laughter. Our beautiful Swami and Trudy. And thank you, Scott, for being the world bridger that you are, and continuing to hold this sacred space for us. And we bless ourselves, we bless each other, we bless the world. And we say, and so it is.
And so it is. Noticing in the chat box prayers, again, prayers for Bonnie. Thank you so much. We love you, Bonnie. Shoshana praying for Jean Houston. Karen S. requesting healing prayers for her friend Al. And yes, prayers for International Women's Day. And of course, prayers that this new war that has begun this week, may whatever is possible to calm it down, water onto the fire of the war, water onto the fire, no gasoline, water onto the fire that is burning in the Middle East right now and all around the world. Thank you so much, Giara. You do such a beautiful job. We love you so much. And just want to let people know our next show is going to be this Wednesday night. And it's going to be a beautiful show. Again, female leaders, Dr. Tara, Satora Faye, Shelley Reef, and our beloved guest musical artist, Ray Amana, all on the topic of the Great Unveiling. How do we heal the collective shadow? It's going to be a powerful, powerful show on Wednesday night. And kind of like almost a part 2 of what we were doing this evening to some degree. So please do join us on Wednesday night. And we are going to close our show the way we always begin, by going to our beloved Omashar. If I can find him. I know he's there. He is, for a closing song.
to the dust that gave it birth. Empty feelings find me deep in contemplation, waiting for the rise of Mother Earth. And we all know what we've come here for, and we all feel that our hearts are true, and together we will make it home, and we'll trust to love once more. Walking through these fields of fear, it bid for my attention. I don't live here anymore. I surrender to the flow that gives me new direction. All there is to do is trust and fly, and we are what we've come here for, and we all feel that our hearts are true, and together we will make it home, and we'll trust to love once we all know what we've come here for, and we all feel that our hearts are true, and together we will make it home, and we'll trust to love once more.
Thank you, Michelle. As always, the perfect song to conclude what's been a beautiful evening. And I really want to encourage everybody, please do support at least one of the organizations you saw today. The Pause Wellness Center, the Girl Up in Uganda. It's really important for us to provide support, even if it's just a few dollars, but take the time to do that. I appreciate each and every one of you. So inspiring to see the different generations of leaders for our awakening world. Tomorrow's going to be a very special Sacred Sunday. So remember, we can honor divinity by choosing to see the divine in all, including when you look in the mirror. And I look forward to seeing all of you next Wednesday night. Thank you, beloved Omashar. Blessings for your mother. Omashar is going to be traveling to see her in a couple of weeks.